They want to play with knives, she could play with knives. They want to fight, she can fight too. Like, I really enjoyed this book. It's dark, it's twisted. It's made up of good. Hi wonderful people, and welcome back to my channel, Book Craze with Giselle. What's up, what's the scene, how are you going? We're in a new month, yeah. So in October I read a lot of paranormal books, and because it was Halloween, I did share a lot and talk about a lot of paranormal books on my channel. But that wasn't the only thing that I read. Like, I read other books too. So in this video, I'm going to let you know what books I read in October that weren't paranormal or did not have like a fantasy supernatural theme. So if you want to know what I have been reading, what I have been enjoying, what I have been loving, then make sure and continue watching this video. Hit that notification bell so you would know when I post videos and when I upload videos. Like this video, come on, and subscribe to my channel. Now in October, I read a few multicultural, intercultural romances, as well as a young adult bully romance. I read a brother's best friends romance, friends to lovers, enemies to lovers. Like, I read a lot of different types of trope, but most of them will, if not all of them, will basically contemporary romances. So let's get started. Let's talk about some books. Let's talk about some books. Yes. In October, I read a couple of BWWMs, right? But with this one that I'm going to talk about, this is the third book from the Promise Me series written by Simone West. Now, this is my favorite book of the series thus far. Promise Never. So in Promise Never, we meet Alessandro, and Alessandro was mentioned in book 2, Promise Keeper. And we meet Tiana. Now, I like this book. I really like this book because of Tiana. So Tiana, she's from the US and her sister was murdered. So she went to Italy to kill the murderer or to get revenge for her sister. Someone met her and pointed her in the direction of Alessandro. So she went to Italy to kill Alessandro, only to find out that no, it wasn't Alessandro that killed her sister, but his deceased brother, only to have other people trying to kill her because the person that actually pointed her in the direction of Alessandro is an enemy of Alessandro. So it's like, what? What I really like is that Tiana, she is so feisty, she's fierce, she's definitely a badass. Like, this girl, she knows how to handle things, and she isn't intimidated by Alessandro and his crime family. No, she is not. And regardless of how domineering and controlling and infuriating Alessandro is, she knows how to deal with him. So I really enjoy that about this book. She did not, just sit back and just allow Alessandro to go and seek revenge on her behalf. Like, no. She was like, I am going to. But it's a good thing that, Tiana was always there and she's outgoing. Just really love her. The only thing that I couldn't stand in this book was there was a lot of back and forth where I like him, I didn't like him. I like him, I didn't like him. But his brother killed my sister. So that was the only thing that I didn't really like too much. But besides that, this was a fantastic read. It is a slow burn, but the build-up is great. The build-up between Tiana and Alessandro, it is great. They are enemies. So you don't want them just, 50% and oof, we turn lovers now. You had to read some more to get to that action. So really love this book by Simone West. Great interracial romance. Okay, this book was my favorite read of October. I enjoyed this book so much. I was so upset because I have to wait for book 2 to be released. This book is called Wicked Night by Tracy Lorraine. It is a young adult, new adult bully romance. It has a crime theme. You have that enemies to lovers, back to enemies kind of thing. It is a academia romance. There's so much going on in this book, but with everything that is going on, it keeps your interest. I consumed this book in October. Like, I devoured, I just like...
The amount of damage being consumed is astounding!
Absorbed everything. Like, this book, from beginning to end, from the first word to the last word in this book, I enjoyed. This is the only book in October that I rated 5 stars. It was that good. So in Wicked Night, we meet Sebastian and Stella. And Stella, she and her father, they have been living in America and they moved back to England, where her father is originally from. She starts a new school, but she hooks up with one of the guys from the school before the academic year actually begins. So she meets Sebastian in a graveyard, they hook up, and then boom, she goes to school the next day or the next 2 days, only to discover that Sebastian is bullying her, as well as his friends. So it's like 5 of them, and they all like team up to bully this girl. But because it has that organized crime theme, you know, that mafia theme, their parents, or I should say Sebastian and his friends and cousins' parents, they had the mafia in England, and they are tasked with just observing her. And because of that, Sebastian and Stella, like, they build up this nice relationship. But let me just say, their relationship, it is so intense. Like, you don't know if they're in a relationship or, you know, they're just like hooking up, or you don't know what. But it turns out that Sebastian and her family, they are enemies. And one of the guys that she was actually starting to fall for, besides Sebastian, because he is definitely an a-hole, I'm just saying. He is so... ugh. But anyways, she was actually liking one of his friends, only to discover that that friend is her stepbrother. Like, there's so much suspense and mystery in this book. You want to know, is Stella's family part of the mafia? What went down? Because Stella doesn't know, but Sebastian and his cousins and friends, they know what went down, but they're not telling her anything. And you just see where things just escalate. There is some knife and blood play in this book. There is some voyeurism in this book. Like, this book has it all. Loved this book. It is so intense, it's dark, it's twisted. It's made up of good stuff. What I enjoyed about this book is that Stella, she is fierce. Yes, you have these guys bullying her, but she can hold her own. She can go one-to-one with these guys. They want to play with knives, she could play with knives. They want to fight, she can fight too. Like, I really enjoyed this book. Stella, she's my girl. Again, she's fierce, she's independent, she's strong, and she did not take any nonsense from Sebastian. Okay, enough blabbing about this book. Really enjoyed it. In October, I also read Hero by M.N. Forchi. Now, I have spoken about this author and her MC series in an MC video. I will put the video in the cards, but I really enjoyed that MC series. And now she has written a book as part of the 7-Night MC. And this is a series written by different authors. So she wrote the second book in the 7-Night MC series. Hero is dark, twisted, and disturbing. And it's because the main character, Godric, he is disturbing and twisted and dark. Like, he has these dark, twisted, disturbing thoughts. And in this book, it starts off with a bang. I loved how the story began. So I was hooked from the very first page. we met Godric and we met him waking up to discover that his girlfriend is dead. And he cannot remember anything. He don't know if he killed her, someone else killed her, if he's been framed. He doesn't remember what happened at all that night. And he's arrested, he's charged, and he's taken into a mental or psychiatric hospital. This is the first time that I'm reading an MC book with the main character going into a mental hospital. Like, tell me, have you read a book like that? I don't think so. An MC book like that? I don't think so. If you have, comment down below, because I want to read another one. Like, it was so twisted, to be honest. And we also meet the heroine, Monette. And Monette, she was basically set up by her ex-boyfriend to borrow money from the Seven Night rival gang. And she couldn't pay it back. Her boyfriend disappeared. So then she's left with no other choice but to do their bidding. And they want to bring down Godric and his MC. So they put on a part and she sets up Godric. There is so much going on with this book. When Godric found out that she was helping their rival, you know what he did? He didn't kill her. No, he did not. Within this book, you get betrayal, you get desperation, you get vengeance, you have debts, you have family issues. In this book, you have a lot of things, and it keeps you enthralled, it keeps you engrossed. You have all of these things wrapped up into this one book. You have Godric dealing with the death of his brother, his father's suicide, this betrayal by Monette, her desperation, and just wanting to have no ties to the rival MC. Like hero, this anti-hero, Godric. The story, well written, pace, excellent, plot, fantastic, build up, good. The only thing I didn't like about this book, or in this book, was the hero's name. Like, Godric, really? A MC president named Godric. I didn't see that one coming at all. Okay, let's move on to the next book. So I've been talking about, some really hard mafia, MC, organized crime books. I'm going to take it down a bit because, I always provide you with a mix of books. I always read a mix of books. Even if I read 3, 4, 5, 6 really dark, hard, twisted books, I always have to read something, just to mellow things down. And during the month of October, I read Takedown by Evelyn Sola. Yo, this book was so nice. I really enjoyed this book. In Takedown, we met Millie and Adam. So Adam lives in the same building as Millie, but that is not how things started. Things started with Millie waking up married to Adam. And she pretends that she can't remember what happened, but she very well damn know she married Adam. So she wakes up, she sees what happens, and she runs. Typical Millie style. Adam wakes up, he's like, you know what? I expected her to run. But then he also lives in the same building as her. And Millie lives with her brother. So, he goes, he's like, okay, wife, let's go home. And everyone is shocked because she did not reveal anything to her family members or friends that she got married on a trip to Vegas. Because on that trip, or in Vegas, her friend got married. All right. So then her mother comes to visit. She can't stand her mother, so she decides, I'm going to live with Adam. And that is where things seriously heats up between Adam and Millie. Because Millie, she doesn't want to admit her feelings about Adam. Adam is like, you know what? Listen, I have been behind you for 2 years. 2 years, I waited, I bid my time, and now I have you. And Adam is willing to fight for her and to convince her of why they should stay married. As opposed to Millie. Millie's like, you know what, I need a roof over my head. But you know what, once my mother gone, I gone. In Takedown, there's a lot of family drama. There's not a dull moment. In Takedown, you have a lot of humor as well, because Millie, God bless her soul, Millie Millie is drama all on her own. All on her own. I really enjoy the secondary characters in the book. So like Millie's brother, her sister-in-law, her mother-in-law, like all of them really added a lot to the story and made it totally enjoyable. It's light, it is sweet, and it is not the dark stuff. There's no murders and no killings or anything like that. There's simply some drama between a couple that unexpectedly got married on their trip to Vegas. And what happened in Vegas did not stay in Vegas. Another sweet, cute book that I read in October is in Ahmed, and it is written by Acreage. So I read book 1. I will put my review of that book in the cards. And in book 2, we meet Grayson and Paige. Now, Grayson is a band member. This is a Rockstar Romance, and Paige is one of the band members' sisters. So this is like your brother's best friend romance, but it also have like a secret pregnancy. So Paige is actually married to someone else. She finds out that her husband is being unfaithful. She runs to Grayson and they mess up one night. They go on tour and it's very hard for them just to keep their feelings in check. And everyone finds out that they are together besides Paige's brother. Like trying to keep their relationship a secret. That did not happen. I really enjoyed like the dialogue between them, the tension between them, and oh my gosh, the hidden pregnancy. Grayson is not without his challenges. He had a very painful upbringing, and when he finds out that he is about to be a dad and that Paige was keeping this a secret, like it pushes him over the edge. And you have like drug use. This is such a very touching story. Really enjoyed in Ahmed, and I'm looking out for book 3 in the tribute series. We need to know what's going on with Finn. All right. So we're going to talk about Lunchtime Chronicles. In October, 3 books from the Lunchtime Chronicles were released, and I read all 3. Like, did you not expect me to read all 3? I said I was going to read all 3. I made sure and I mentioned it in my September TBR that these books were going to be released and that I would be reading them the day that they were released, because they're really like short, sexy stories. And these stories, they are books that you can read literally on your lunch break. But just don't let anyone see you reading them, right? I don't let nobody see me reading them. So we had Salt Shaker released, Red Moscato, and Naked Sushi. Salt Shaker gave me organized crime vibes, and you get that from Roman. So Nisa, she's celebrating her birthday. She had planned to meet up with her boo, celebrate, have fun, but he never showed up. She meets Roman. She realizes there's something really dark about him. They hook up, all right, but only to discover that the following morning she received this package from her boo that she was supposed to meet with to tell her to meet at this location or take this to this location, otherwise someone is going to die. I'm like, what? Where'd that come from? After we had all this nice party vibes, we're going to get her groove on, because it's been a while. Turns out that her boo set her up, and thank God for Roman, because Roman is like, okay, listen, I've dealt with situations like this. I've been part of the mafia from since I was the age of 14, and this is how things goes. And he really sets in and helps her out of this situation. It is not dark at all. So if you're looking for like a quick read with a little bit of, mafia, organized crime vibes, then definitely read this one. It does not go too much into the whole crime aspect, but you do get that. But things are mainly about Nisa and Roman. Then we had Red Moscato. I was not prepared for Red Moscato. So you have your grumpy boss vibes in Red Moscato, which I did not anticipate. And I think this is what made the story really good for me, in that we had Eden, and Eden actually worked for Alex. Alex, he is the CEO, or he owns the company that she works for. However, they don't work together. They do have history together. They hooked up when they were in high school. Things happened, and by the time college rolled around, they were completely enemies. Turns out that Alex decided, hey, I'm going to go with your best friend, get her pregnant, get married. However, his heart always belonged to Eden, and Eden was very hurt by this. But nonetheless, they worked for the same company until Alex's secretary has to take leave, and no one else can deal with his level of grumpiness but Eden, because Eden already know why he's grumpy. And throughout the story, you see where she shares what happened. And let me say, this girl went through so much. And although this is a short, quick story, it really goes into the detail, and you get a really nice background that you don't normally get in a short story. You get a nice background, and you literally fall in love. Well, before you fall in love with the book, your heart breaks for Eden and Alex, and then you fall in love with Eden and Alex. I love this story, and I must say he was grumpy at the beginning, but definitely not at the end. And in Naked Sushi, you also had a mafia organized crime theme in this one, and we meet Rio and Layla. And Layla, she has her own family issues. She has a sister that is addicted to drugs. Her parents passed away from their addictions, and she's there dancing at a high-end adult club to make money so that she can get her sister into rehab and just try to save her sister. And Rio was sent by the Yakuza, which is the mafia in Japan. So he's sent to take care of business there. He meets Layla, and he really likes her, gets good vibes from her, and pursues her. Although she rejects him, he still continues to pursue her while taking care of the business for the dragon. Both Rio and Layla experienced things in their childhood that almost broke them, but they were able to just strive beyond that, beyond those experiences. And then you get a really nice piece of that Japanese culture where they eat sushi off a naked woman's body. Like, you get that, and it's like, this one was really nice. It was steamy. It was everything that I anticipated. I enjoyed these quick reads, and I am looking forward to the other books that are going to be released. Spice Cake was already released. It was released on November 3rd, and I did read it on November 3rd and really liked it. But you know what? We have to leave that for another video. That brings me to the end of my video. Those are the books that I read in October that weren't paranormal or fantasy type books. I enjoyed all of these books. They were really good stories. They were written well. I have no complaints about how the books were written. They flowed great. Love the characters. They all had some really nice steamy scenes. So love that. And even those with a slow build, they were hot too. Make sure and like this video, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you will know when I post a video. And look out until I post another video in this month.